Okay, let's talk about the Section 11 mortgage amortization schedule assignment. So here's the scenario. Teresa's living in an apartment and she's paying $1,200 a month, and she's presented with the opportunity to buy for $150,000. So that's going to be the list price of the house. And we're assuming that she's going to do a 20% down payment and get an interest rate of 4%, and she wants a 30-year mortgage. So what we're going to do is we have to answer all these different questions. So they have, how much total money is she paying in rent? So here's her rent. What would it be if she rented for 30 years? How much of this is interest and how much is principal? No, that's not really a trick question. When you pay rent, it's all interest. There's no principal there. Then you got to calculate her down payment, figure out the total interest on the mortgage, and all these. Now to do kind of these last couple here, you're going to open up this spreadsheet. And I'm going to recommend you just do everything in the spreadsheet. Don't turn in a Word file. We never do that except for projects. But this spreadsheet's kind of cool. So we go over here, and we kind of have all this stuff right here. And what I'll do is we'll just kind of make up numbers for this example. Let's say the house cost $200,000. And I want to know what 20% is. So I can do equal that times 0.2, times 0.2. So that would be 20%. That's really weird with one decimal. I don't think I like that. Okay. And then if you do that, take the amount of the house minus the 20% down payment, you're going to need $160,000 from the bank. And that's how much you put up here. So 160. All right. Your interest rate was 4%. Mortgage term was 30 years. There's your monthly payment. Now, if you look here, this is really cool because it's using that payment formula. H3 divided by 12. Well, that's the interest rate divided by 12. 12 times H4 is 12 times that many years. Negative H2, negative loan amount. So as long as you fill in these three pieces, it will automatically give you that. You can kind of play with it and say, what if my interest rate was 8%? That makes your mortgage a lot higher. What if it was 2%? Then it'd be lower. You can kind of play around and see what would happen there. Also notice over here how all these formulas are already filled in for you. So all you really need to do is take these, drag it down, take all these, and just copy it all the way to 360. And ideally you'll have no balance left. If you had something wrong up here, like if you had this as a 15-year mortgage, well then you would notice that after 15 years you start getting negative numbers. So it's kind of neat. You can fill in all the different pieces of information and it'll just kind of calculate all that for you. So then going back to here, if you want to know how much total interest you'll pay, well, you can do the sum command to figure out that column. If you want to know how much total principal she's going to pay, well, you can add up this column. So this is kind of neat. What this is doing is just saying, the principal, what your payment is minus the interest. Look at these two things together, they're going to equal your monthly payment. So they've kind of done a little bit of the legwork on here for you, but it's kind of neat to see what's going on. Oops. Okay. Then just some more questions. How much total money is she paying for the house? Question: what other costs does the mortgage have that renting doesn't? All right, because you kind of look at these and you're assuming that they're equal, but owning a house has other expenses. So think about some of those. And then here, once you have all the numbers, what do you think the better deal is? That's kind of up to you, but you'll have some numbers to back up your point. So you have to quantify and justify why you like one versus the other. All right, now when you do all this, if you want to use this empty space to kind of do some math, you don't really need a calculator. We found 20% using the computer. But when you go to type your answers up, like we usually do is insert a text box and just slap that box like over here. And then you can put, the answer number 1 is blah, blah, blah. Number 2 is blah, blah, blah. And that way it's all kind of neat and organized. We'll have all your, spreadsheet stuff here, data here, then answers here, and save it, and submit it.